Their heads are empty, but their hearts are full.
Their heads. That's the title of the podcast episode. Head empty, heart full. Jesus
Oh my God.
Christ, my phone was not muted.
Oh my god.
Well, you know what? It's thematically appropriate because my text tone is in fact the air guitar from Bill and Ted. So it's thematically
That's
appropriate.
terrifying. To just hear in the middle of the night, you're like half asleep and like holy shit. Anyway, Gab, happy 69.
Happy 69, dudes! You may know this, on the 1st of June, we didn't release anything.
Yeah.
And why is that, SJ?
It's for the meme. No, not really. It's because of Bill and Ted. It's because of Bill and Ted.
Everything is because of Bill and Ted.
Of course.
No, but officially, 69. So 69.
Nice.
6-9 is Bill and Ted Day. Happy Bill and Ted Day, Bill and Ted friends.
Bill and Ted Day. The most important question technically would be, how many times have you watched Bill and Ted? Like all 3 movies, maybe.
All 3. Here's the thing, I don't actually know. As a whole, I've watched a trilogy all throughout, like straight.
Straight.
I was about to say derecho. Binge watching them all 3. I think I've done it like 6 times.
That's a lot less than I thought.
No, that's binging all 3.
Uh-huh.
Individually, I'm not quite sure.
The third one I think is your
Especially-
most watched, maybe. I don't know.
I think my most watched might actually be Bogus Journey, because that's my favorite one out of the 3. Steering us back on topic.
Yes.
We'll be talking about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the 1989 movie directed by Stephen Herrick, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the 1991 movie directed by Peter Hewitt, and Bill and Ted Face the Music, the 2020 movie directed by Dean Parasol. And I did not look up anything for that. That's just off the top of my head.
I was about to be like, oh, did you take notes for this? And then you were just like, no, that's off the top of your head. Very impressive, but also very worrying.
So SJ, what was your first experience of Bill and Ted? Had you, like, heard about it before you watched the movie?
Oh my god. I'm gonna roll the clips.
Hi Gab, hi SJ, and hello to everyone listening to The Secret Treehouse right now. So actually, the first time I saw Bill and Ted, it was with Gab. Gab invited me to watch the first movie with her, which ended up being super duper fun. So, naturally, we watched all 3 movies in a single sitting. And I like it. I really like it. Not even like it. I love the Bill and Ted trilogy because I think it's the ultimate feel-good movie. It's what the kids say, most excellent, dude. It just radiates good vibes all throughout. All 3 movies have such a positive atmosphere surrounding it. I cannot describe it without using key smashes. So, like, imagine I'm key smashing at you guys right now. I cannot stop smiling and laughing just watching these 2 dudes on their goofy adventures, vibing and jamming, even playing board games with Death himself. Definitely one of my favorite movies of all time now. And there's also this cool fun fact about the writers of Bill and Ted meeting Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves at a McDonald's, which Gab shared to me. And it's one of the fun facts about Bill and Ted that really stuck to me. So I hope you share it in this episode.
Hello, I'm Margs. Just wanted to say, before I watched Bill and Ted with Gab, I was really confused about the hype about the himbos, but then now I get it. Also, I really think their English majors are really fond of like the English language and literature, because who would use words such as bodacious or like really big words but have small brain energy?
So as you may have heard, multiple people have talked about how they have been essentially coerced into watching all 3 movies of Bill and Ted by Gab. I am like maybe I don't know how many people you've done this to, but I am one of those, including the person who illustrated our cover, Stess. But it was an enjoyable forced experience, so I can't say I hated it.
You make it sound like I'm holding a gun to you and going,
You guys
Sit
want
down.
you guys want to watch Bill and Ted? There's like a dangerous glint in your eye, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, let's watch Bill and Ted.
You're like, I don't like the look in your eye. Let's sit down. Let's put the movie on. Well, wait, let me count. I think. Okay, that's. The thing is, I have people watch it, and we're like a group of 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, per viewing, there's mostly like 2 people that I get in one go.
Oh my god.
So I think about 8 people I've made sit down and watch Bill and Ted.
If you ever go back to being religious, I will fear you.
The thing is, I am slightly religious, but I'm not, like, I'm chill. Like, our family's just chill about that
You've
stuff.
turned multiple people into Bill and Ted converts. It's very
I have.
worrying.
No, and I've also turned multiple people into, like, podcasts and stuff. And other movies.
I fear
then
your
my-
abilities, but also I appreciate it.
This is probably why in, like, those Percy Jackson quizzes I get Aphrodite. It's the charm speak.
Yeah, I can see it. And I mean, it's not even that you charm people into doing it. It's literally just that people can't say no to you because you're so nice to them. It
What?
feels like you're
No.
saying no to someone who will break down at the first notice.
No, come on. This is unfortunately not the first time, because someone did tell me once that saying no to me is like kicking a puppy.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm very enthusiastic, and it's just to shut down that joy, I think. Is, for a lot of people, just like, I don't want to do that. It's also why my parents also put up with me talking about Keanu Reeves so much.
Oh
They're
my
like,
god. And I mean it's very thematically appropriate that that you're also very enthusiastic about this, like to a very startlingly worryingly good degree. Like you're just really pure about it that you want it, because that's also probably the main characteristic of both characters of Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted.
Yeah, it's just the both
Yeah.
of them really like what they do, whatever they're doing.
And I think that's why I love these movies so much. It's just that sheer joy and the passion. I'm like, I see you, I'm like you. But it's also why I love Paddington as well.
So, how exactly did you get introduced to Bill and Ted?
Okay.
Apart from your like weird Keanu-thon that's going on with you.
No, okay, so to be fair, when the third movie came out, my dad was like, we were eating lunch. He was like, "Oh, the third Bill and Ted is good." And I said, "What is Bill and Ted?" And he's like, "I'm surprised you haven't seen it because you like time travel media and you know you enjoy Keanu Reeves." I'm like, "Yeah, but I haven't seen it." And I tried looking for it for so long in all the places. And I couldn't find like a decent like link to it, so I just didn't watch it. And then Matrix Resurrections came out, which I also love, and I was like, God, I should really try to find Bill and Ted, because my dad did not shut up about it. He was like, have you seen Bill and Ted yet? I'm like, no. And then thankfully I found a link. And I was initially just gonna watch the first movie, and then do the second movie the next day, and then this third movie the next day. And suddenly it was 4 a.m. and I was crying at the end of Face the Music.
That's unsurprising, considering all things considered.
Yeah, no, it's just the Matrix Resurrections. I just put the fault on causing the whole Keanu spiral, because I was just like, I was just chill with Keanu. It's like he would pop up now and then, and I was like, yeah, he's really cool. I like him. He's a cool dude. And then Matrix Resurrections came out, and I was like, okay, so now I'm gonna rewatch all the Matrix movies, and now I found a link to Bill and Ted, so I'll watch that, and then it spiraled from there.
One hell of a journey.
It's
It's a
an
bogus?
excellent journey. No, bogus is bad.
Okay.
It's most non heinous.
I feel like I was in the perfect mood when you forced us to watch that. I was in a bad
That-
spot when you
That was a rough day.
yeah, it was a like non heinous.
It's a non heinous.
Yeah, it's a non heinous day, and then you were just like, "Hey, you want to watch Bill and Ted?" Yeah, okay, let's go watch Bill and Ted.
The thing about them is that they're just like charmingly silly, but they're really smart if you pick apart. I remember in the chat I was like, "SJ, please do not criticize the time travel logic," and then you went,
No, it makes
"Well,
sense.
but it makes sense." Like, okay, good, because my sister was like watching it with me, and she was like, "This doesn't make any sense." I'm like, shush.
As we talked about in the last episode, I do love time travel. The common things that my sister does not like about time travel is just when it gets a little too complicated. When paradoxes happen, I'm just like, oh, that's clever. That's really smart, actually. Even though I know it's gonna happen, I'm just like, dude, your minds or something like that. I'm very simple about shit like that.
Meanwhile, in Bill and Ted, you've just got them meeting different versions of themselves.
I think my favorite little paradox moment they have is when they went back to that what's it called, the Kmart or whatever.
Oh, the Circle K.
Yeah, the Circle K.
So wait, you still haven't answered the question. Out of the three,
oh right, that was
which of the shenanigans did you like the most?
I really like the utmost random bullshit that happens in the first movie.
Yes!
Just Napoleon eating a Napoleon, just randomly just getting abandoned by children. Like, what a guy. Who comes up with shit like that?
Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson, who are the creators of Bill and Ted.
I think one of the most memorable scenes for that movie for me was the random music video in the ano yung tawag ni Stes doon? Nakalimutan yung sama niya.
Oh, wait.
Some weird prayer dance.
Oh, wait. Oh, the one in the future.
Yeah. That one took me.
No, but honestly, the Bill and Ted movies have never been big budget movies. No. So a bunch of those stuff is sets that have been held together, or really inventive people have come through and just been like, what can we do on the budget?
It's very it's some really small studio film sets.
No, so what's really funny is Bill and Ted was originally going to be released, and then the production company closed down. Mm-hmm. So the first movie sat on the shelf for a year. So it was filmed in 1987, but it was released in 1989 because the original company shut down. So they had to shop around and find a different company to release the movie, and they were told it was either never gonna be released or it was gonna go straight to VHS. VHS was in the 80s, right? Yes. Can you tell we are children of the 2000s?
I knew you were about to say straight to DVD, and then you just stopped yourself.
No, I was like, no, straight to VHS. No, sorry, it would be straight to video. Sorry. I like how we're getting off topic, and then when we were watching, we were all like, why are they discussing the most inane things? But no,
It's in theme. Do you know how many times? Yeah, how many times they get sidetracked from what they're doing? Oh, dude, we should totally get princesses or what the fuck. Dude, wasn't this for homework? The way you latched on to these dudes so fast after you dropped Redacted is so funny to me.
It's because I was deprived of my favorite himbo at the moment.
And so you went and looked elsewhere.
Where is my himbo representation that
you were like, my hands are so empty. I need to hold something.
I need serotonin.
Very concerning.
I need to occupy my brain with something.
And you found them.
As all mentally ill people do. You know, I wasn't expecting to get so into Bill and Ted. I thought it would be another thing where I was like, I like this thing.
I don't think anyone expected you to be that into Bill and Ted.
No, exactly, right?
You just
I don't think even my dad expected to be into Bill and Ted. But no, there's just something about it's niceness and its quiet absurdity in the world. Just generally be bag.
Yeah, they're just walking around being nice to people. Let's bag them.
Well, it's a bag them. No, but they're just you know how some teen movies are just mean spirited, and you're just like, no, I don't want to watch this. It makes me relive high school. I don't need that.
I think it's because most teen movies, most high school movies, you'd say any movie or like series set in American high school, there's always some like kind of edginess to it, which you do tend to see in most high schools. But like they kind of just forego mentioning the fact that these are literal children. And like sometimes boys will do the stupidest shit.
Stupidest things.
Yeah, without
high school
even...
boys are stupid.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a bold claim. I knew so many stupid high school boys, and they're just such boys.
I would know. I used to be a high school boy.
But yeah, like, that's something I feel like Bill and Ted does that, like, a bunch of modern high school movies don't do. There's just the lack of, like, cynicism in it that's just nice and it's really prevalent in, like, 80s movies. Well, no, some of them are cynical. But, like, compared to the rest of, like, the 80s movies, Bill and Ted is relatively harmless, apart from the one slur.
The one recurring slur in the first two movies.
Which is fine, because I get that it couldn't, like, age perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, it's just really funny, because in the context for some queer people, they're like, oh, they're allowed to say that because they had canon them as queer, and I'm like... But it's really funny, because I remember getting into Bill and Ted, and there's just a bunch of gay people in the fandom, which is very funny to me. And there was, like, I think, a Nerdist article talking about how, like, the new generations of people are discovering Bill and Ted for the first time because of streaming, and it was really nice, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that was, like, I don't know if it was because when, like, the third movie came out, I did see, like, that sudden resurgence.
No, I did. I also saw, like, I was peripherally seeing the resurgence of Bill and Ted, but I was like, I don't know how to watch the movie, so I can't join in.
It was
and also, like, there's, like, the whole Keanu Sans thing, which reignited, like, after Always Be My Maybe.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I thought people were just, like, into doing, deep dives into individual actors' fucking discographies.
Here's the thing, because Keanu Reeves, not to, like, turn this into Keanu, but, like, Keanu Reeves wasn't, like, as universally loved as he is now. Which I've discovered from doing my little Keanu-san. It's just like a bunch of like 90s interviews where he's like, he's a bad actor, he can't act, he's so bland. This is your white man? I'm like, number one, he's not white, he's mixed race. And also just generally people are like, oh, he can't do anything other than Ted. Which is blatantly not true. But yeah, he wasn't as universally loved, and then Always Be My Maybe came out, and people were like, hey, Keanu Reeves, I love that guy. I love Bogus Journey. Like, if I had to pick one. If you held a gun to my head and said, pick your favorite Bill and Ted.
Oh my gosh.
Well, not gun, because we're talking about Bill and Ted. Well, if I was about to get knocked out, I guess there was guns in Bill. There was a gun, singular.
In the third movie, does that count?
I remember.
The blaster?
No, there was a gun. Remember, because you were like, why not give them guns? And I think you and Stas were like, who gave them a gun? Who thought it would be right to give Bill and Ted a gun? And I said, SJ, you were just saying the thing about them having a gun.
Just give them guns. But who would give it to them? Who in their right minds, I guess. Then again, they do live in America, so
Oh my god.
I can make jokes about that.
We're suffering.
Yeah, I'm suffering because of America. Fuck
through
you guys.
Historical event. Really wish we were living through a magical. What?
Yeah, you can
Major.
do it.
Oh no.
You can do it.
Suddenly I'm making up new words. Major historical event. It happens when I try to say two words at the same time.
Just make up your own word.
Can't speak? Just make up your own words.
Shakespeare.
Oh,
no one's doing it like that guy.
No one's doing it like that guy. And also, I've heard, like, the writers and also, like, Alex and Keanu talk about how, like, Bill and Ted's speech pattern is also very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Like, the strange things are afoot at the Circle K. Who says afoot? Only Bill and Ted and
it's
Shakespeare.
So, like, I don't know why.
You were talking about how, like, you found the language of Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Like, when you were watching it.
I was just... It's just very strange that two teenage boys choose to speak like that.
It's because they're English. I feel like their favorite class is English class.
But, like, they're failing.
No, but it's their favorite class. You know, the one thing I do like about, like, the ethos of the first movie is the difference between like passing and learning.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because
Yeah.
like they learn how to pronounce Socrates' name right, Socrates.
So great.
Which back in the 80s, a bunch of parents were like, "You're melting the minds of our children. You're like making them dumb with this dumb movie." But yeah, no, it's just like the thing about Excellent Adventure is that at the end of it, they do learn and they do retain the information, which I think says a lot about like the education system and how like it prioritizes book learning when some kids might be better at like learning through other means.
Yeah.
Like I remember like it's like math where there's usually just like a set solution,
Yeah.
and even if you solve it, your teacher marks it as wrong, but you're like, but I got the answer. But yeah, I do. There's just something about like Excellent Adventure that's just they're just two dudes trying to pass their history report. That's like time travel is involved, but ultimately they're just trying to pass their history report so Ted doesn't get sent to military school by his shitty dad.
This one you got pissed every time I tried to bring it up.
What?
It was like, okay, he gets sent to military school to learn, I guess. But what if he doesn't learn there? What if he fails military school? Are you gonna send him to any other school that would take him if he keeps failing? Like, what's the
Exactly.
choice?
And if you send Ted to military school, he doesn't have Bill. What's his motivation to like learn?
I don't have my best friend. Aww.
The universe said, "Do not separate." Like that's the whole premise of like the time traveling plot in Bill and Ted. It's that Rufus has to go back because they're like Bill and Ted.
Do not
There's a danger of
separate
them
them.
separating. Do not separate. And it's the same thing where I remember my sister's like, "Well, who do you like more, Bill or Ted?" I'm like, you can't separate them. They come as a set. You can't.
We're pack animals, Mary.
You can pick your favorite dairy girl, but how do you choose between Bill or Ted?
No.
Or can you choose between Bill and Ted? Do you?
Can you?
I meant you. Like, I'm firmly in the camp of do not separate.
Do not separate. Okay.
Like, I think the writers were talking about how, like, for the third movie, it never even crossed their mind to have the conflict be that Bill and Ted separated, because they just wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I think it's just their platonic soulmateness, you know? Like, you
Yeah.
literally, like, they're a package deal. You can't take one from the other. It's physically, it's like metaphysically impossible to do that.
Yeah, well, in the comics, actually, they do get separated, and then the universe breaks apart, and I'm like, well, see,
It's impossible.
if you separate them, look what happens.
Look what you did.
Look what you did! They're sad now, and alone!
They're like magnets.
Yeah!
They're not gonna stick to anything else but each other.
But oh, that's sweet, though. That's really sweet.
The way that they propose to their girlfriends, like, at the same
Yeah!
time. Like, they're just, like, going off a script.
They just changed because Ted's is about like aquatic life and Bill's is
Plagiarism
about, like,
not allowed.
Even when they get married, they come as a set, which is the therapy.
We
scene.
love you.
I genuinely, the first time I saw the therapy scene, I could not stop laughing because I'm like,
It's a polycule.
because they're trying so hard, and they're like, it's just in their brain that Bill is gonna always be there for Ted, and Ted is always gonna be there for Bill. So it just never crosses their brain. Me and Bill love you very much.
They're a polycule. You can't separate
You can't
any
do
of
not
them.
separate. And even in like Bogus Journey, and they're like, I wonder if after we're married, the princesses will stay over with us.
Oh my god.
Like boys, typically, if you're married,
you
You
probably
separate
like
houses?
separate houses.
But no,
they
no.
they have like the individual houses with like connecting basements.
no, yet isn't that what is in the third movie? Like they have houses next to each other, and the garage is where.
That's why
they're
I was asking,
connected.
like, whose house is this?
No,
It's Bill
not-
and
that's-
Ted's.
It's that's the thing that's brilliant about the third movie and the garage, because they never make it clear. It just, I think you just automatically, your brain assumes, of course they would live next to each other, and they would have a connected garage, or of course they would live together. Like your brain does the connect the dots for you, which is great. I mean, when they, I think the only time they separate in the movies technically is when they die, which I think that's another thing I love about Bogus Journey. It's just like the shots, like the artistic choices in Bogus Journey, like with the pink and blue sets, and like the transitions and like heaven and stuff. It's just so creative. It's very Pushing Daisies.
I'm trying to I'm remembering this one. Yeah, it's the Spider-Man No Way Home or whatever fuck video from CJDX, and he talks about what the controversial opinion that is Marvel movies are theme parks or whatever the fuck, and it's like it's reminding me of like the rest of that statement about how like films and like cinema is basically like just a very big risk for the producers themselves, and I feel like that's the entire trilogy of Bill and Ted. It's like it's a big risk for the studios to have made this, but like it's within the capabilities of everyone involved, and it came out pretty great. It came out pretty decent, even though studios are like, this won't sell, but like we're not making stories to sell. We're
Exactly.
making stories to tell. Rhymes.
Wow,
It
you're a
rhymes.
poet, and you didn't even know it.
Wow.
Oh my god.
This is in
But yeah, no.
character.
Yes, it is. It truly is. But yeah, that's the thing. Like the first movie, like the studio shut down. The second movie, like the studio wanted them to be like, and now Bill and Ted go to England and go into books.
Hello.
And then Chris Matheson and Ed Sullivan were like, we don't like that. Here's this script called Bill and Ted Go to Hell. And it was bogus. No, it genuinely was called Bill and Ted Go to Hell. That's why when I saw the title of the Rina Sawayama album, I was like, oh my god.
Bill and Ted?
Just like Bogus Journey. And it's...
The brain rot is just so real, guys.
I'm so sorry. No, but hey, she's gonna be in John Wick 4.
The connections.
I've connected the dots.
You haven't connected shit.
I've connected them.
Just like Bill and Ted.
Just,
Oh my god.
just like my friend going, Gab, this happened to my buddy Keanu.
They really read you for Phil.
It's really I couldn't even be mad because it was true.
I can't believe you guys would do this to my buddy Keanu.
But it's just yeah, like the Bill and Ted movies, they're never big studio movies, and that's why I think Face the Music took about 10 years to make, because no studio wanted to finance that, even though Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves and Ed Sullivan and Chris Matheson were like, no, but there's a fandom, there's a fan base around this. And then around, like, I think 2019, Warner Brothers was like, oh, there is a fan base, and they're like, yeah, we've been telling you for 10 years.
I'm surprised they didn't go into like webisodes and stuff. Because web shows
that
like
would be a dream.
yeah, web shows were like really in I think in the mid 2000s, 2010s. Yeah?
Yeah, well, they did do cartoons, but I think a barrier to that is number one, Alex Winter moved into directing documentaries, and Keanu Reeves just blew up. But yeah, I think that definitely was a barrier in them trying to like do like a short episodes. I mean, they did do the animated series, but it was only for the first season.
I mean, it kind of just reminds me of like the Kickstarter trailer for Raising Dion.
Yeah,
and then
like this. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
like the
it's
special effects and the vibe.
It's the small studio made thing. Like I probably like I won't be mad if like in the mid 2010s they would have started like a Kickstarter and they got like funded like within the day.
Yeah.
Like I can believe that would happen, but like I guess they didn't have like that kind of foresight or like the time.
I don't think so. That's also like that's just also why these movies are charming, because you can see like the physical sets. They don't really do that as much anymore.
Yeah,
I think studios are so afraid of things not looking realistic.
No,
which
it's
is frustrating for
it's
me.
the fact that
As someone
it's
who
the
loves
fact that they're
campiness.
unionized. Yeah, because CGI is a lot cheaper to pay. Because
Yeah,
you get
which is funny because back then CGI was it's more expensive to do than build physical sets.
Yeah, And now it's the other way around.
It's the other way around. It also makes me sad because I remember I was so excited for Lion King, and then I saw it, and it was just realistic animals. I'm like, this isn't fun.
Where's
You
the
made
Owls
Scar
of Gahul?
boring. Oh, Owls of Gahul is actually fun.
I know. Like, where's the vibe? Owls of Gahul.
Owls of Gahul was so great. That's another movie that I would talk about as a kid, and people are like, what the fuck are you on about?
It's like Warrior Cats for birds.
But yeah, I was an Owls of Gahul person. I wasn't a
Just
Warrior
ignoring
Cats person.
I
I was a Guardians of Gahul person.
I wasn't really big into books because I was basically illiterate until like the first grade.
Yeah.
So unsurprising.
In so many ways, we are yin and yang in that I just did not talk to anyone because I was just reading all the time and I couldn't speak Tagalog. Oh my god, we're yin and yang.
Wow.
We're the googly eye and the bagel.
I don't know that.
I'm sorry. But you know what? That's also one of the reasons I think I loved Everything Ever All at Once so much. It's just it has a similar vibe to Bill and Ted.
The absurdity and
sincerity, and also just like the props and stuff, because it is a smaller studio. It's not like a giant production. And I think I'm just finding out about myself that I just really enjoy smaller studio made movies.
They've got heart in them.
They've got a lot more heart.
I talk about this in a video that's about to come out because I haven't edited actually because I'm lazy. But it would have come out by June 9th. It would have come out by June 9th. I'm not that lazy, but I talk about this in a video about how a lot of actual good art that you end up consuming, it's like indie stuff, because like they're basically just like subcultures, like countercultures, it's like very underground. These are where the arts like thrive. But yeah, once art just gets to the mainstream, it gets like really buffed down into this like they're just taking all the good things about the thing that you like and making it more profitable and like relatable to the masses.
Yeah, that's the thing that frustrates me. Like, not to go into Marvel, but like the state of Marvel now is that it's they're just trying to appeal to everybody because of the success of like all the Marvel movies that became like huge events for like everyone goes and sees them because it's a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
That like a lot of like what made like the original Marvel movie is so watchable, or just like watchable-ish in general, and just rewatchable is the heart, which I think sometimes peeks through. Like you've got Thor Ragnarok, you've got Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and it's honestly kind of weird how they've turned that cultural. It's a cultural reset in every way possible, because like back then, like even like. Maybe, like, in the 80s, like, in the era of Bill and Ted when they were making shit like that. Comic books, like, being into superheroes was, like, geeky shit.
It was nerdy.
Yeah, it was cringe.
Was nerdy as
Everyone
fuck.
was cringing, but now being into superheroes, it's, like, normal.
Yeah, that's my thing. I remember there were like people who used to be horrible to me in high school, and then they got into Marvel, and they were like, "So explain everything to us." And I'm like, "No, you were bullying me for this when I was in high school, and now you're gonna come up here and ask me to no."
And I think the best thing about time travel themes in any form of media is that it's it's a little too complicated for most people for it to be marketable.
Yeah.
So that's why like any any time travel media ends up becoming
slightly more niche.
Yeah, it's a little more niche. Like not a lot of people have watched it, or not a lot of people like wanna watch it at all or understand it. Basically,
I think maybe like. There's like a certain group of people who love it very dearly, but if you don't like time travel, I've discovered like if you don't like time travel, you really don't like time travel.
Yeah. It's I think it's people's aversion to committing to something, or like being really really into something. Like most people think it's cringe when you're way in too deep.
And that's also like another thing about like the movies, which is just Bill and Ted are just like they just live their lives and they love the music they love, and they just say the things they say, and
They're
are just the way
very
they are.
passionate about the things
They're-
that they like.
Yeah, and they're just very open and honest, and it's just like I can't imagine like how refreshing this was in the era of 80s masculinity.
Yeah.
See like these two dudes who were just being themselves. And like something that I missed from high school movies nowadays, when they're just allowed to be kids.
Yeah.
They're not trying to be like edgy
Or
they're
like
not
trying
trying to be cynical.
too grown up.
or to, like even when you like check back in with them in Bogus Journey, I love their apartment because it does feel like a 20-year-old's apartment. And that it's like messy, but it's still full of like their like little passionate things. There's a detail in the book, like the novel. It mentions that like Bill and Ted have like this bookshelf full of history books because they just loved learning about like the historical figures, and they also wanted to know what their girlfriends were saying, so they were just like reading books so they could understand their girlfriends better, which I think is really sweet.
I feel like if they were born in this era, it's like history is just like, dude, look at this lore. Some really sweet American lore.
They would be very good, like they would be very good, like YouTubers a la Hank Green,
Twitch streamers.
Twitch streamers.
Thanks for the raid, dude. Like they're streaming right next to each other and they're rating each other's streams.
Don't look at my stream. You're cheating, dude.
I'm not cheating, dude. Your screen is like right below mine.
Aww.
They have the same setup. Do not separate them.
Here's the thing, I don't think you can... Another controversial take is that I don't think you can remake Bill and Ted.
Yeah. No. I don't think, like... I think the way Bill and Ted are, like, they're that way because, like, Keanu and Alex Winter did that to them. Like, they're a big part of it.
Yeah, like, I remember I think I showed some of the audition tapes when we were doing a little marathon, because I had like a 30-minute lecture when Stess is about to go to sleep, and I was like, listen, that's my Bill and Ted talk.
Yes.
I was like, listen, when you see like Keanu and Alex just read together in the audition, there's just like something that clicks in the both of them, and that's just the audition.
The moment they go action, just all thoughts fade from Alex Winter's eyes. It's just head empty.
Alex Winter, like, I know Keanu gets talked about, but Alex Winter is just so good as Bill.
I know. He just, like, snaps back into it. Like, the moment go action, it's just like,
It's like, there's no
it's
Alex
the
Winter,
mouth
there's
breathing
only...
for me. It's very teenager.
Word you saying, you're like, his voice has not changed.
I know.
It's great. And I think it's really funny because I know Alex Winter has said, like, he was worried about going back to the role after about 20 years. But he was really good. Like,
yeah.
Especially in Face the Music, I was like, Alex Winter, I missed you, dude.
And it's really...
I say as if I didn't watch the 3 movies back to back.
It's really cool because, like, even though, you know, they're completely different characters, it's just, like, a testament to how much they shape their own characters that... even though you haven't seen them in a while, they're still them, but you know they're fathers now. It's not because they aged, it's just like the vibe. I don't know how to explain it.
And it's also just, that's another thing I think Face the Music does, that like a bunch of like sequels that don't work, that like many years later sequels that don't work don't do, which is letting the characters grow old, and they're not trying to like stick the characters and be like, they are the exact same as they were in 1991. like they let time pass.
Yeah, the time skip.
Like,
the time skip does not erase the time that it skipped.
Yes, exactly. Which is important. Like,
Unlike redacted from.
God.
Not going into it.
But like, you know, like the fact that we see them at the end of Bogus Journey and they're like doing all these great things, and then the first time we see them in Face the Music, they're playing at Missy's wedding. They're just trying their best.
Their stepmom now
is married to
sister-in-law, question mark.
Yes.
Scary, terrifying, but also
Terrifying.
like that Missy has the saddest childhood ever.
I know.
Like, she's not even delved into. I'm just like, I'm
Missy
so
has-
sorry what happened.
Missy is like the one of the plot points that I'm like, but you know what? She's like better than both their dads.
Yeah.
Somehow.
That's the thing with her character, and like a lot of their characters technically, is that they play into this trope and then play it with such. It's like crack treated seriously.
No, exactly. That's what Bill and Ted is. It's crack treated seriously.
That's the AO3 tag. Crack treated seriously.
Crack treated seriously. It's just because everyone's just doing it with so much sincerity.
Yeah, it's
like, and that's how you play comedy. Like, you know, you can't ever be like, this is ridiculous. What I'm doing is ridiculous, because then it doesn't work.
It's reminding me of like a few episodes of Barry that I watched. I mean, he gets into improv. I think, improv theater. So, like, you just, like, let your partner set the scene and you just commit to what they give you. And that's...
Fun fact.
That's the thing that they do.
Speaking of that, is that Bill and Ted did start off as an improv or a stand-up comedy routine that Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon did. And then Chris Matheson's dad, Richard Matheson, who wrote I Am Legend, encouraged them to, like, make it into like a movie, which is funny. I think why Bill and Ted works is because it started out from a place of genuine friendship and then went on to a place of genuine friendship. Because I think Alex Winter was talking about how like he and Keanu have been besties for the last 20 plus years.
Aww.
Which is really sweet. Like, I always really like it when the actors actually like each other.
I like it when coworkers don't hate each other.
I like it when they like what they do. I don't know. Why am I doing a Godfather voice? I like when they like what they do, you know?
Okay.
Just offensive to any New Yorker. I'm sorry, Jeanette. Specifically, Jeanette.
Just Jeanette. The only New Yorker we know. Jeanette's not even from New York.
I know. But it's just like a lot of sincerity and a lot of heart is what I look for in like a movie that I tend to like watch over and over. Like, if I look at my catalog of movies that I love, it's like Paddington, Bill and Ted, Mamma Mia, Josie and the Pussycats. What else? The Matrix, like the first Matrix specifically, is also very much a passion project. This is like a trilogy, is such a solid like trilogy, because the tone is the same for all three of them.
Yeah.
There's never a moment where I'm like, this doesn't fit, unlike the new Star Wars. I just realized we're an hour in and I haven't even talked about death.
Take that out of context. Think about what you just said.
No. William Sadler as death.
Me not identifying what accent is this?
I was like, I think it's Swedish.
And then you cut to him playing a British man. Like, what is going on?
Yes! Like, evil Bill and Ted are just ridiculous. Alex and Keanu are just having the time of their fucking life.
Me adding like the E to Bill and Ted, like, the E in email makes it so that email is actually evil. Evil mail. Evil mail, except for when I get my emails about Dracula Daily. That's the only not evil mail. The most non-heinous is actually from school.
Heinous. Yes! Because I fucking... Benil sends us so many emails. I'm like, do I need this many emails in my inbox? No! And then they'll be like, your Gmail is out of storage. Gee, I wonder why.
I've been regularly deleting emails now.
Same. I didn't used to do that, but now I'm like...
No, I empty them out because apparently that's
like... Oh, wow.
Because, like, that's where...
It's good for the environment.
Yeah, it's bad for the environment to keep emails. That's my that's my PSA for the environment right now.
Delete your emails, guys.
It's
what
emails.
Bill and Ted would do.
Of course, I keep, like, 19 starred AO3 comments.
Of course.
It's for me, specifically.
It's for your writer brain. Okay, but back to, like, Evil Bill and Ted. The way that they're just, like... I love how Evil Bill and Ted is just toxic masculinity.
Because that's basically, like, the entire ethos of Bill and Ted is, like, being in touch with your masculinity while also still, like, I don't know.
I mean, like, their whole motto is, like, be excellent to each other and party on, which is just be nice and just let people live and be nice to them.
Yeah, it's like
if it's not hurting anyone, then what the fuck's your problem?
It's a very positive message about masculinity of, like, confronting your own emotions, don't fucking run away from it, like, be genuine about yourself, blah blah blah. Like,
Be genuine about the things you like.
yeah, feel your
Kill
emotions,
the part of
dude.
you that cringes. Don't kill the cringe. Kill the part of you that cringes.
If you like a thing, commit. It's not that complicated.
It's not that hard. And it generally does feel better when you like a thing and you commit to it, rather than sitting down and pretending you like something cool and it's just eating you alive inside. We haven't even talked about their relationship with their kids,
Yes,
which is the sweetest thing.
I think
'cause they're-
that was one of my the one positive. Well, no, not the one positive, but I do like the way that they make it so that the prophecy is about their kids, but they don't really know.
Yeah, but I think it's really sweet because you don't see like a lot of like good, wholesome father-daughter rep. Well,
That
well,
isn't
father-kid
like
rep. That isn't like
adoptive.
that doesn't have like adoptive or like that doesn't start off as like hostile.
Yeah,
Like this, they just love their kids from the get-go.
yeah.
Like I look at Billy and Thea, and I know like their dads have encouraged them to pursue whatever the fuck they want to pursue, and that's nice.
It's kind of like, it's really cute that they actually like their dads. It's not, it's not the kind of teenagers who are like, ew,
I hate my
no."
parents.
Or,
yeah,
stop embarrassing me.
Yeah, they're just like, I love my dad. They're just like, my dad is cool, and I'm like, as someone who thinks my dad is cool, it's very, very relatable. Which I was like, it's really nice to have that kind of like thing. It's not for everyone, but I do think it's important to have like
see, yeah.
teenagers or like young adults who aren't embarrassed of their parents.
Yeah, you have to
'Cause you
present
get
an
so
alternative
much
because
of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because then people start expecting it, and then
Yeah.
it's like it's a feedback loop,
And it's just like, it's really cute that their journey is like, I want to go help my dad. And then that's when they have their own little excellent adventure moment where they politely ask the historical figures.
I was like, oh my
come
god,
with
bag
them.
him!
Esther's like, they're gonna bag him? I'm like, no, they're not. They're gonna politely
Consensually
ask them.
bagging.
They're gonna politely ask them to come with them. It's just really cute. And I really like watching the background actors because sometimes they'll be doing something so ridiculous and it's in the background, but it's still so good. There's a bunch of those, I think. Like, there's a bunch of little touches in like the Bill and Ted franchise that I'm like, oh, that's like a little detail that I really appreciate.
God. It reminds me a lot of like filming for little school project stuff.
Yeah.
Like even though you're an extra, you're like doing the most in the background.
You're doing the most. You really are. You're like, what's my motivation?
You're like person in line 2.
And you're like, okay, so as person in line 2, I'm gonna fiddle with my wallet. I'm gonna pretend to drink from my thermos.
I'm gonna panic when they hand me the change because I can't get my wallet out too.
Yes! It's just, it fits into the whole thing of like everyone on Bill and Ted clearly wants to do Bill and Ted because they know what they're in and they just enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's just because they're sincere. And I hate it when people aren't sincere in their movies and in art in general. Because I'm just like, it falls flat. Like, even if you have like the best budget in the world, like the best special effects, if there's like no heart behind it or just like no care put into it, then it falls flat. And if your characters are like playing it from being cynical or just like clearly the actors don't want to be there, I think it shows. Like,
Yeah.
it just shines through.
Unless of course you're playing the one person who does not want to be there.
Which is very funny because Joss Ackland, who plays Tunamalos in Focus Journey, did not want to be there and did not like Alex or Keanu, apparently. Apparently he just like took them aside and was like, you could be doing more with your life instead of being on Bill and Ted.
Why?
And I know Alex Winter has talked about how, I don't know, that's another thing about like comedy in general, is just society looks down on it in comparison to drama. It's like how you never see comedy movies nominated at the Oscars. Which I think is such an unfair. I hope Everything Everywhere All at Once at least changes that. It's
comedy
like a pet
movies
peeve.
never winning in award shows in America. Meanwhile, fucking
Britain.
Metro Manila fucking
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Metro Manila Film Festivals. Kakaiba talaga.
yeah.
I think it might also just be the Filipino in me that I like comedy, and I think there's a lot of sincerity that can be gained in comedy. It's probably, I never thought about that. Now I'm thinking about it. Just like
Maybe it's because you're Filipino. That you're
yeah. Just like the I like the intersection of dramedy, I guess you would call it. But like I was saying, like, it never gets taken seriously. Like, I remember when people would talk about Bill and Ted in the interviews I read, they'd be like, "Oh, it's Bill and Ted. It's stupid." I'm like, "No, it's not. I mean, it's dumb, but they're not dumb. Their heads are empty, but they're not dumb. There's a lot of sincerity and heart to them." I'm like, yeah, exactly.
It's just film snobs and like film critics going off about how, film in any art form should like induce some kind of like emotional reaction from you. But when the reaction is joy and genuine, like, I don't know, like catharsis in the good way, like catharsis in the happy way,
or just feeling hopeful about your circumstances.
When it's that kind of reaction, it's just like thrown aside.
It gets panned as like saccharine or cheesy,
or that it's pandering to something,
which pisses me off. Like, I would rather have that than sit through a movie that's just so cynical and just saying the world is shit. Like, we know the world is shit. I'm not going to the movies to keep saying that the world is shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need like that joy and escapism and that hope.
Sometimes you just need to see
nothing wrong with
two teenagers falling over themselves.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to see two teenagers who clearly like being friends.
Yeah.
Friends who like each other and want to spend time with each other. Just genuinely care about their surroundings.
Sometimes two people just like to be friends. Thinking of the Avengers, it's like, wow, it's a superhero team. None of them like each other.
No, literally. But yeah, no, Bill and Ted doesn't have that. Because it is about this, like, Bill and Ted. And then it's like everyone they accidentally pull into their orbit.
Yeah. They support each other, support others, and like it's like a feedback loop of positive energy. I don't know why some people just don't like that in anything, honestly.
It's the same people who like also had like the same criticism towards The Good Place, isn't it? Where
and like
it's so positive about death. I'm like,
yeah, we all die. Are you just not gonna confront your death?
Yeah.
Your inevitable death.
I mean,
it's gonna happen one day.
That's also, like, the whole thing about, like, Bogus Journey, right? It's, like, it's a movie that could be so dark because you've got, like, the evil Bill and Ted's literally killing Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Like, Bill and Ted die. But they, like, face the afterlife with, like, so much humor and genuine, oh, we can get through this.
Yeah, we can get back to life.
Yeah, like, if you think about it, they have no knowledge about whether or not they can actually get back to life.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep trying.
We throw enough things at the wall, one of them is gonna stick. I think that's what makes them compelling, because they're just trying their best
at whatever,
which is
doing.
very human. Yeah, exactly. Which is like a very human quality to have. So we're all just like fucking around and finding out and trying our best to like pick ourselves up from that. I forgot to mention in Bogus Journey, I like that they actually acknowledge they're like, we're not making enough money to raise a family with our part-time job.
Yeah.
We gotta make it more money to support our wives and children. Where do you hear that?
Yeah. From
nowadays?
Boys?
From boys.
In fiction?
Or like from young men in general being like, we love our girlfriends, we want to propose to them because we love them very much, but we need to like earn more money because we are not going to be able to like support our families with what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which is just like, it's just, they care so much about each other and about the people around them that in turn the universe cares about them.
But I'm just thinking about how like I'm someone who genuinely likes really, really bleak stories, because even in the bleakest, most dystopian bullshit that you throw at me, I can still see like a bunch of characters having hope in their situation and like fighting for a way out. And it's like people just, I don't know, like people diss on like tragedies because they think that, you know, being really depressing even though you live in a really depressing world is like really bad. The thing with tragedies isn't because, you know, that it ends badly. It's because like despite the thing ending badly, the people still try to do the thing that they wanted or needed to do. And like it's still like a message of hope despite all of it. But like people who diss on like non-tragedy stuff, like the slice of life stuff, or like just random comedic bullshit, it doesn't make sense, because it's the same thing that you're looking for, just not, you know, like a flower growing out of like a crack in the concrete. Just because it's like a field of flowers doesn't mean it's not like impressive. It's still growth, and it's still like characters doing their best in the situations they're in. Like the only difference is you're not 100% depressed about what's going on.
You're looking at a different set of people who cope with it differently.
Yeah. Like, it's not always, like, a time of strife. You gotta, like, even though people are enjoying a better life than you in fiction, you gotta confront the fact that, you know, just because you're in a depressive mood doesn't mean, like, everyone is. Or that they want to wallow in it, you know?
Yeah, because there are people who, when they're in a depressive mood, do want to find things that bring them joy.
Yeah.
Because that's their way of coping with it. And it's really frustrating to me whenever people only laud the depressing shit. And the world gets bleaker and bleaker, and we're still only, like, giving awards to the depressing shit. It's almost like, it's frustrating that it's almost like it's saying that the good shit doesn't matter because there's so much bad shit.
Yeah.
When, like, not to quote Doctor Who, but, like, life is a pile of good things and bad things, and, like, it doesn't always mean, like, the good things will outweigh the bad, but you can't just, like, go through life and just keep focusing on the bad. Otherwise, then why are you living? Why are you getting up in the morning? Like, even if your moment of joy is just that your cereal tastes good, that is a moment of joy. And, like, it's so frustrating when people discredit that, or just think that isn't important.
I think it's just, like, some people are a lot cautious of, like, making really happy stuff during a time of crisis. And I think that's mostly because of the feedback loop of, like, you know, a lot more people would appreciate it if you are a lot more respectful of what's going on right now. And, like, not, you know, stepping on people's toes or whatever the fuck. But, like, at the same time, you know, it's eventually gonna pan out, you know? Sometimes we get into bullshit, like with the elections that just happened, you know, like, even though, you know, the fight's not over yet.
The fight's not over, and there's no way through it other than through it.
Yeah.
Like, we can't go back in time and
we don't have a phone booth.
We don't have a phone booth. We can't go back in time and just, like, do something that will give us, like, a better outcome.
Yeah.
Like, the only way through it is just always just going through it. And that's true with any hard thing in your life. It's like the only way you get through something is to go through it.
Yeah.
In whatever way that's possible.
You try the most that you can.
I think that's something you also see in, like, Face the Music. Where they're struggling, and, like, it opens with, like, their kids talking about how, like, they just kept trying, and life was like, no, but they're still making music.
Yeah.
I think the saddest part of the movies is when Ted is talking about how he went to the music store and he's thinking about selling his guitar.
Oh.
That was the moment when I was like, but, like, the tragedy of, like, these people who are just, like, who care so much, maybe having to be, like, give it up and not care about that stuff anymore, that's more tragic than getting pushed off a cliff.
Yeah. And it's, I guess it's, like, still looking on the bright side, you know? You just, like, you want them to keep pursuing the things that they're doing, and, like, and I think that's, like, one of the big messages that they send in the third movie, is because, like, it's about their kids and not them, you know?
Yeah.
They want to make it so their families aren't suffering because they want to pursue the things that they want to do.
It's realizing that as you get older, you may not be, like, the quote-unquote the chosen one, but your kids may be.
Yeah.
And just because you're supporting them doesn't make your role any less significant. It's just not what you thought life was going to be like when you were 15, 16, and in high school, and you got told that your music was gonna save the world. Yeah. Because in a way, their music does save the world. But it's also just like, like, Face the Music, it could have been bad. Like, let's get this out of the way. Like, Face the Music, there are many I guess you'd call them legacy sequels that are bad.
Yeah.
Because they kind of lose sight of who the characters are because they're trying to like keep them the same as they were when you last saw them. Which I think is the problem and why a lot of them don't work. But with Bill and Ted, you've got them acknowledging their age. You've got them like that moment in the garage that we were talking about where you think they're gonna give up. But also just like very interesting that they went the route of you see the chosen one 20 years later and you're like, look at him, he's got trauma, he's burnt out, he's a burnt out gifted kid. Because everyone is expecting in Face the Music, Bill and Ted are gifted kids. Which I think is such a like important thing, especially as artists, right?
Yeah.
Like you never know like which one of your things is gonna hit
until you throw it at a wall and it sticks.
Until you throw it at a wall and it sticks. Because if you give up, then what if you never do the thing that is gonna work for you?
Yeah.
And that's just like, what if you're meant to like do a good thing, and then you just give up and it never happens, and you never know like how good you could have it, and or just like if you stop trying, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Sometimes like that's also another thing. Like it's so easy to get caught up in the big things, but sometimes it's the little things like saving your daughters from hell.
I genuinely
that are more important.
Wow, the little things like saving your daughters from hell.
There's something like interesting because I remember reading a bunch of interviews during my deep dive that technically isn't a deep dive. I just like this thing.
You just went down the rabbit hole.
Yes, I did. Where I think Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon were talking about how like even though Bill and Ted are just like such these hopeful, optimistic dudes, they're if you think about like their home lives,
yeah,
it's not great.
Yeah,
like both their moms are missing, which is funny because in the comics it turns out their moms are in space fighting aliens.
What the fuck? And that's just supposed to make sense.
This is so funny because that's the premise, and then they have to confront the fact that they abandoned their sons.
Oh my god!
For their sons, it was for their kids, but at their kids' expense. Which I think I was reading that and I was like, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, MILF moments only.
MILF moments only.
Were their moms hot?
Yes, they were. Also, Ted's mom is drawn as Asian, which I really appreciate. But like, just when you think about like their home lives, like Ted's dad is so shitty.
Yeah.
ACAB, especially Ted's dad, Captain Logan. All cops are bad, but especially that dude.
1312. I love how every time he mentions military school, you just go boo, boo,
boo. No, that's actually just generally me every time he's on screen. I'm sorry, I love Hal Landon Jr. who plays Ted's dad, but whenever I see Ted's dad, I just feel the urge to go boo, boo, you suck.
It's like that scene from Princess Bride.
Yeah. Boo, boo. Oh god, we gotta do a Princess Bride episode.
We're doing it. We're doing it. It's just guarantee.
Yeah. But even like Bill's dad's horrible. He's like shacked up with like someone who was a senior when Bill and Ted were freshmen. He's so busy. He has sex in his son's room. And then you start like the next movie and Missy has divorced him for Ted's dad.
She's moving up in the world.
Is it an upgrade? Is it Missy?
It's what's it? It's the Crisostomo Ibarra way of trying to take down the San Dimas cops.
It's nice to have like these people who have like these fucked up childhoods or something, but still turn out to be nice people.
Yeah. Because
their home lives aren't great.
Yeah. And that's like a thing. I don't know what it is. Like, that's a thing that they always do in fiction, is just that, you know, these bullies that they want to flesh out, or these evil villains that they want to flesh out, they always give them like the shittiest home lives. And it's it's not an excuse to do bad shit.
Exactly, and it's Uno reversed with Bill and Ted, where it's like their home lives are shit, but look at how like nice and genuinely kind they are.
Yeah.
But I also like read this interview where they were talking about how like for Bill and Ted, their friendship was their way to get through it, and especially I think the writers singled out Ted. Because, like, if you apparently if you go back and watch it, Ted's just a little bit sadder than Bill.
Yeah.
He's a bit more cautious about everything.
I want you to edit trust nobody, not even yourself, but like it's just Keanu Reeves. I want you to do it.
It happens so many times in his movies. I'm not even gonna lie. It's just very funny because he's the one who's a bit sad. Who's like, I'm tired, dude.
Same. Representation, tired Asians on screen.
Representation? No, not just tired Asians. Burnt out, tired artistic Asians.
I think, and this is me.
Matters.
This is me slightly talking out of my ass, but I do feel like, even though you can't remake Bill and Ted, like the vibe, you can still kind of replicate because, like, that's the same.
Yeah.
Like, you can still technically say the same of Turning Red. I think.
Yeah.
Like it's the same vibe of
agree.
like,
Yeah.
be yourself. Like in the midst of the bullshit that you're going through.
You're going through. That's how you get through the bullshit, honestly. I would watch like a spin-off of Billy and Thea.
I feel like they
could
should
do
make
it like
one.
you were saying. Like the webisode thing would work well with the both of them, where it's just kind of vloggy.
They're vlogging, yes, exactly.
Yes, and then occasionally you just have Alex Winter stick his head through the door and be like, "You guys good?
Are you winning? Are you winning, kids?" You hear in the background like just faint music, and they pop into the garage. It's like, "You winning, dads?
You winning, dads?" They could do that. I would 100% watch a Billy and Thea vlogging webisode thing, even if they do it for like a couple of episodes. I don't need like 7 seasons, but like,
bro, that's like that's reminding me of the web series they made for Pride and Prejudice.
Oh yeah, what's the name again? It's
Lizzie Bennet Diaries.
Lizzie Bennet Diaries.
Yeah.
I forgot the last name.
I watched the entirety of this. I'm not even.
I also did. Oh my gosh, is there anything else? We this is a long episode. You were right.
I know.
Wait. Okay, wait. Very last thing. The scene in the retirement home when they meet their old selves.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that it feels like Alex and Keanu saying goodbye to their characters.
Aww.
It's just really nice. Oh my god, I love this franchise so much.
I know,
As
guys.
evidenced by our current runtime.
Oh, good luck to me.
I'm so sorry, bestie. If I had any more technological knowledge. But anyway, okay, SJ, what are we talking about next time?
Oof, okay, I think I promised last time that we were doing Killing Eve.
But yes, next episode, we're jumping back and forth between the vibes.
The vastly different vibes.
Well, the absurdity is not that different. Truly, and some of the kills in Killing Eve are something else. But yes, we'll be talking about Killing Eve. We'll be talking about the lesbians.
Yes.
We'll be talking about what the fuck happened in the last season.
Murder only. Oh, if anyone wants, between June 9th and like the end of June perhaps, if anyone wants to talk to us about Killing Eve, their thoughts, whatever the fuck happened in the last season, what questions you have, I'll also probably have. You guys can like tell us. You guys can tell us through the sticky notes, our voicemails and stuff.
Wait, on that note, I gotta get one last guitar riff in.
Oh no.
SJ. Oh no. So, for context listeners, I have to take medicine and I have an alarm, so this is the one that plays. Oh no, wrong one.
This is why you're not editing these.
And on that note, be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes! What you just heard was a talk from the Secret Treehouse. Those were your hosts, SJ and Gab, and this was a production by The Playground. If you like that, please consider supporting us through the links found in the show notes. If you support us for as low as $6 in coffee, you can get the whole uncut version of this episode. And if you want your name at the end of the episode, like at this moment here, you can support us for $10. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope we get to hang out again.